So when Ella Gardner is involved in a protest in Oakland, she becomes a target of that city's police. As a means to protect her, her mother decides, don't you want to go to South Africa and spend some time with your father? And then it becomes like a story of her just being a fish out of water in a world that she's never been in. But also, there's also some things, some secrets that she needs to uncover. One of them being the fact that like her father's new wife is an employee of, I guess, the African edition of the CIA, and she is tasked with finding this African terrorist whose name I'm not going to mention. And so it is suspected that this terrorist is in cahoots with one of the students that goes to the new school that Ella is supposed to go to. So now the new stepwife basically tasks Ella with basically trying to go to that school and basically being undercover for the CIA to try and find out which kid has parents which are tied to this terrorist. That sounds like a crazy plot, right? Well, it's for a show that exists. This is the plot for a show called Classified that you can watch on Netflix. This is a production that came courtesy of Die Prente being the production house of one Kagiso Ledecha, but I think he's working in association with his sister, Karabo Ledecha, who had recently released a movie in 2025 called Sabbatical, a movie that got great reviews that I think you can watch on one of those streaming channels in South Africa like Showmax, which is soon going to be DSTV streamed. Fucking canal. This is a show that I went into thinking to myself, Amber, am I going to enjoy this show, or is it just going to be another one of those experiences that I've had watching like local Netflix productions? And I do want to say that like the show tries. I will give credit where it's due. Like it's conceptually it's good. It has a good flow and a good like balance of the action, but also the high school drama elements of it. I love that like it touches on South African history. There's a big play that is referenced in this movie, which kind of contributes to the plot of the movie in a way. I do want to say that like there are moments in the show where I'm like, you're losing me a bit. How do you get there? How do you get there? And I think it's just a matter of, it seems like this show was meant to be done for one season, and then like they had to conclude it really quickly in the final 2 episodes, because that's where the show gets weird. But like overall, I think it's a great watch. It stars this girl called Imani Polom, who I have learned that she's actually from America. I thought she was local and doing an accent like Tusompe or something. And then it also stars, I'm forgetting this guy's name, but he was in The Day of the Jackal. It does do a mixture of like international actors and South African actors. And I think it's linked with like the Matthew Robinsons and the Michael Matthews of this world. I know that I'm ignorant in my assessment because that's the only link that I have in terms of like South African cinema industry and the international American Western film industry. But I could be wrong. There could be other reasons why they are connected. I'm just making that connection because there's another actor who's in this show who was also in this other movie called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. And I thought maybe there's a connection there because Matthew Robinson has now worked with Gore Verbinski and he has worked with Michael Matthews. I could be wrong. Anyway, this is a good show. I think it's a good show. I think it does need you to kind of lock in. There are those Netflixerisms that I'm picking up in everything that is linked to Netflix. The whole thing of like explaining something that just happened and then explaining something that just happened again, then explaining something that happened at the beginning in case the audience wasn't paying attention. You know those tactics. But it's not as noticeable. And I think the actors really go for it. All but one. I will not mention his name, but like there's someone who is cast as Ella's love interest in this show. And I think he tries, but I don't know. I think he just needed like, I don't know, a stronger director. Someone who was just going to be like, hey man, come on, do something. You're not doing anything. Like, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing any sincerity. And I don't know if like the idea was because they tried to cast him as like the very chilled guy, the very nonchalant, person. But for me, it came across as someone who was just dialing it in. I'm not trying to come for a kid's acting, okay? If anything, this person is a musician in real life. I don't think they act as much as they make music, okay? So no fault on them. But overall, if you can overlook certain things like that, I think you can have a good time with the show. Funny enough, I was expecting the show to be full of licensed music and needle drops, but they did hire a composer for the show, and I think that person did a great job. I don't know their name, but I did hear some of the work. And also that theme song, it's so catchy. It's so annoyingly catchy. Like, I'll just be chilling. Like, yeah. But give it a watch if you have time. It's like 8 episodes, and you can watch it on Netflix, classified from 2023. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you all have a lovely day. Ciao.